Hello, everybody. Gertrude Sharp and Everett Seaver were married in 1908 in Kansas City, Missouri, shortly after Father had won the Trans-Mississippi Golf Championship at the Kansas City Country Club. 3 years later, when Charles was 1 year old, they moved to Los Angeles to be near Gertrude's mother, Catherine, and her husband, Charles H. Sharp. And now we're going to switch to Riviera Country Club and my great good friend, Bud Eichelberger. This is on the day when we played golf with Bobby Jones. Here's some memorable pictures of Father and the rest of us driving from the 7th tee at Riviera Country Club. One of the proudest moments of my life was to walk down the aisle at church with Franklin Roosevelt on one side and Elliot helping him on the other. Now you're going to see some of the early shots of Cypress Point. And this was in 1929, and it was my great good fortune to be in the first group with my father to play this wonderful golf course. And many people consider this to be one of the most beautiful golf holes in the world. The narration has been by Charles Seaver. With this, I wish you all the very best. This is December 1988, over and out.
Charles Seaver took his first golf lesson at the age of 9 from his father, the 1920 SCGA amateur champion, Everett Seaver. With the game in his DNA and an elite golfer as a role model, young Charlie grew up rubbing shoulders with the greats of the game, such as Ben Hogan, Gene Sarazen, and even Bobby Jones.
My mother was Catherine Seaver, who was Charlie's younger sister. Uncle Charlie is Uncle Charlie. Of all the kids in the family, he was the legend, the athletic legend.
Known throughout history of golf as a great golfer, great reputation. He followed his father's footsteps. His father won the Southern California Amateur Championship, and Charlie won it. Very seldom a father-son would win that.
Only 6 years after learning the game, he captured the 1926 Southern California Junior Amateur Championship, as well as the Los Angeles Country Club Invitational. Charles later reached the semifinals of the 1930 U.S. Amateur, all before the start of his college career. It was not until 1932 when Charlie truly became a household name.
Remember the 1932 Walker Cup team? He played as semifinalist in the 1930 U.S. Amateur, the Bobby Jones, who won his Grand Slam.
He was the first non-professional amateur to play at Pebble Beach, and he and Bobby Jones went out and surveyed the course after they'd finished designing it. And he and Bobby played around at that point in time.
His run from 1933 to 34 cemented Charlie as one of the greatest amateur golfers to ever grace California's fairways. In 1933, Charlie picked up victories at the California Amateur as well as the Northern California Golf Association Amateur Championship. In 1934, he won the SCGA Amateur, joining George Von Elm as one of only 2 players to hold all 3 major California amateur titles at the same time.
Well, he was famous. All you got to do is look at the newspaper clippings to prove that. They used his photograph in lead articles all through the 1929, 30, 31. It wasn't unusual to pick up the newspaper and there'd be a picture of Charlie Seavers with a little picture like this with the article.
Father to Baseball Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, Charles had success off the golf course as well. He worked in the food industry after moving to Fresno, where he introduced raisins into breakfast cereal.
He grew up and particularly in the Depression, and so he wasn't able to become a professional golfer or somebody involved with golf to make a living at it. He had to go out and find an ordinary job up in Fresno. You know, the golf was his avocation. But in this day and age, he would have been out making a very nice living at golf.
The Seaver Cup, named after Charles, was created by the SCGA and NCGA to bring together the best players in the Golden State.
The whole family is very excited that he is being inducted into the SCGA Hall of Fame. This is the cherry on top of the sundae, and I would say most deserved.